Welcome to the 902 podcast. This is a New Year's edition of the 902 podcast, and we're welcoming in 2024, saying goodbye to 2023, but not a better way to do it than with a few law enforcement colleagues. And I was fortunate enough to have some law enforcement friends from different places in the country join us on this episode to take a look back at 2023, about some wins and successes that our agencies have had, and then also looking forward to some challenges ahead of us in 2024. Fun to listen just to different perspectives, but at the same time see that the things that we're facing right here in Lancaster County are pretty similar to those elsewhere within the country. Be sure to follow the 902 podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts, and we hope to see you again in 2024. Welcome to the 902 podcast, and I'm Captain Vic with the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, and we got some special guests with us today, people that are colleagues of mine from law enforcement, and three guys that I'm happy to call friends, but that we all spent some glorious weeks together in Quantico, Virginia at the end of 2022 at the FBI National Academy. But on the show today, joining us, we've got Chris Golden, who's the Assistant Chief of Police at the Bartlett Police Department in Bartlett, Tennessee. Josh Jefferson is a Division Chief with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, or NCIS, stationed in the Washington, D.C. area. And Steve Robson is a Colonel with the Broward County Sheriff's Office in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But thank you guys for taking a little bit of time out of your day to join us today.
We appreciate you having us.
Happy to be here. Glad to be here. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, and this is gonna drop right around New Year's, and so I was looking at this kind of as a way to just look back on the last year. Josh and I were talking before we went on the air. I think 2023 for me has been one of the fastest years of my life, especially when I look back to where we were, a year ago. The time that you're at the NA goes pretty quick, but man, the time since then has just flown, at least for me. Would you guys say the same?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we know I had another guy from our agency go through, and then he finished, and then what would have been our session started. And I was like, how is that already a year ago? It was like just snap of a finger and it was gone. I couldn't believe it's already been a year.
Yes, and when 288 was going, I kept seeing updates from the national office, and they're doing this or they're doing that. They've got this PT challenge, or they're they've got this dinner night, or they're going on the New York trip, and man, blink of an eye, it just goes so fast. So I want to give you guys just a quick chance to introduce yourself, and then I found something from the archives that Chris will appreciate here when we're done. But Chris, since you're the only one out of the group that's been able to get promoted since we graduated, you want to start?
Sure, why not? My name's Chris Golden. I'm with the Bartlett Police Department here in Bartlett, Tennessee. We're a suburb of Memphis. And I'm happy to be on the show here with Captain Vic. And I was lucky enough to get promoted right as I got back. The promotion actually went to effect in January, but during the last 2 weeks of the National Academy, I pretty much assumed the role and had to do both. So that was challenging and fun all at the same time.
Yeah. And I'll ask everybody this, but so Chris, how did you end up getting into law enforcement in the first place?
Well, in general, I have my granddad was a sergeant here at the Memphis Police Department. Like I said, we're a suburb of Memphis. And then I have two cousins that are on the Sheriff's Department here, and I always saw them and the work that they were doing growing up, and it just sounded like something interested. And I always had a passion to, try to help others and help do things, and was looking for a fun job, and this kind of hit all those boxes for me.
Yeah, awesome. So Josh, let's hear about you.
All right, so hey, my name is Josh Jefferson. As you stated, I'm with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS. The first question a lot of people ask is they don't even believe it's a real show. And I always say the same joke. When I applied, I actually thought I was applying to be an extra on the TV show. But no, it has really been a good journey with NCIS. I currently work in the DC area, and I am a division chief for our human resources department. So I know that's probably a little bit unique having a federal agent in law enforcement, but typically my job is that I oversee all the promotions, and these are the promotions going from the journeyman agent all the way up to a GS-15, so like special agent in charge. So my job is just overseeing that, ensuring that we have an objective, fair, and equitable process. And I also oversee the mobility of all the agents because we're pretty much a worldwide organization. So anywhere there's a Navy base or a Marine base, you're going to have an NCIS agent on that base as well.
And remind me, because I swear I asked you this question, have you ever been in the Navy? Like the actual, okay, all right.
No, so, and I do want to address that because a lot of people do believe that NCIS, we're military members, but NCIS is like the agents are 100% civilian for the most part. So yeah, we are 1811s, just like any other federal organization, whether that's DEA, FBI. We just deal with the felony level investigations for Department of Defense.
So what got you into law enforcement in the first place?
So kind of like Chris, I mean, it's kind of funny, but as a kid growing up, always was captivated by law enforcement shows, any type of cop show, just thought it was the coolest thing. I remember in the 6th grade, my mom started working for the FBI. She worked for the FBI as a support person, and I just thought that was the most fascinating job. So from the 6th grade all the way up, I was always interested in becoming a federal agent. After college, I started working for the FBI as an FBI police officer. And while there, I was able to meet individuals that kind of opened the aperture for me a little bit. And they told me about several different federal organizations. And that's how I came to NCIS, just based on the opportunities to travel overseas and the ability to live abroad.
Very cool. Okay, Steve, you're up. Where are you from? How'd you get there?
So originally, I'm from Miami. I was born and raised in Miami, and I grew up down there. And back in 1992, the summer before going into my senior year of high school, we got crushed by a major hurricane. And so that whole year, my senior year, my family was kind of displaced, and my family rebuilt the house, but just wasn't the same. So they relocated further north. So they landed in Palm Beach County. Obviously, I traversed up there with them, and I settled. So you have Miami-Dade County, Broward County, and the next county to the north is Palm Beach County. So they settled in Palm Beach County, and I settled a little bit to the south in Broward County. And that's where I joined the Broward Sheriff's Office back in January of 1997. And it's had a wonderful career. I'm finishing 27 years.
So what was it for you that drew you to the sheriff's office there?
So funny story with that. My father is actually a firefighter growing up.
Ooh.
So talk about the opposite spectrum and that whole that back and forth.
Yeah.
And so it was actually my grandmother lived like 4 blocks from us, and her next door neighbor was a Miami-Dade police officer. And I always thought everything he did was just the coolest. And then he actually went to their organized crime division. So growing up, seeing him go from like the patrol and all that stuff, and then the organized crime, and of course he knew I was interested, so he would just reel me right in as a kid. And I just never lost that bug. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, once upon a time, the 4 of us were actually in the same building, and I found something as I was preparing for this episode, and let me see here. Oh, if I can find this. So, Chris, you'll appreciate this.
Oh, lovely.
Welcome to the 284 Block B podcast with your host, Chris, John, Steve, and Josh. This show is sponsored by 511 Tactical, The Boardroom, and Patty's Bar and Grill.
Bring back any memories there?
Yeah, so the Lancaster County Sheriff's Department would not have their own podcast had it not been for that right there.
100%. I mean, I was talking with Josh too. I listened to podcasts, but I didn't have any idea that it was something we could really do. I think you found the Anchor app, which is what we use now. It's Spotify. And so, yeah, we've totally just used that ever since. And, Steve, you know, I met your sheriff in Denver at the National FBI National Academy Conference. And, so, you know, I guess that's kind of what opened my eyes to, wow, we could actually do this and use this as a tool. So,
Yeah.
I came back and in March started, just doing episodes. We thought we'd maybe do one a month, and we've done one every week since March 6th.
Oh, wow.
So, it's been a challenge, but it's been a fun thing too. But, this gathering of the four of us is definitely overdue. Cause, we talked about, you know, just trying this for fun, but now we kind of get to do it for real. So, it's so cool to just have you guys back together, the OG podcast group from the communications class back in 284. So what have you guys, what's life been like since the NA, Josh?
Well, it's been busy. I mean, so while I have not gotten a promotion, I did transition from criminal oversights, like doing oversight of our investigations, into transitioning into human resources. And all I got to say is it's a totally different world. It's a lot busier than I originally anticipated.
Yeah.
But it's very eye-opening at the same time. And I'm just really looking for ways in which I can be impactful in the position that I'm in now.
Yeah. How about you, Steve?
So 2 major projects. If you remember back at the NA, I spoke about the training center that we were in the process of constructing here with the sheriff's office. And we were very close to turning the key and opening that facility. It's a 100,000 square foot, $70 million project. So everything that goes into the construction and building it out and everything that we need to facilitate in that training facility for our organization, you know, we're a big group. We're almost 6,000 employees here.
Yep.
At the sheriff's office. And half of my command is everything training here at the sheriff's office except fire rescue.
Okay.
So one of the unique things for the sheriff's office here is the sheriff oversees the county fire rescue. So they are literally a county fire department that reports to the sheriff. So I don't want anything to do with fire rescue training. I know nothing about that world. But everything else training here falls under my purview.
Yeah.
So I've got that major project going. The second half of what's really been occupying my time is, unfortunately, another thing I talked about the NA was our helicopter situation here at the sheriff's office. And unfortunately, one of our fire rescue helicopters actually crashed in September. Yep. And we had a paramedic on board die. And sadly, an innocent civilian on the ground died.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been neck deep in politics, procurement. So I'm also now, on top of the training center, I'm juggling a almost $40 million procurement project with Airbus to replace our current helicopter fleet. So that's pretty much been my year.
Yeah. Well, and I remember you and I talked briefly after that crash happened. That's just terrible news for you guys in your community. But we know that we know you're on top of your part of it, and so we wish you success as you keep that going. So, how about you, Chris? Is the chiefdom everything you thought it would be, or
it's a whole lot more?
Oh,
it's like driving on the Autobahn.
Yeah,
you don't really have it coming, but you're just flying around.
Yeah,
it appears as all of 2023 has been a blur, but we've made a lot of strides here at the department. You know, it was challenging going from being over one specific division to being over all of the divisions, and to ensure that you keep yourself motivated and motivate everyone else at the same time. And I think that's what the NA really does, is it rejuvenates you and gets you motivated, set up for the next year. I almost wish, we could have a couple weeks back there every year to turn the script and get started over.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Josh and I were talking, there was a podcast that EJ O'Malley did with the FBI NAA, and it was about basically eating right and trying to stay fit through the holidays and stuff. And you want to talk about motivation, and it snaps you right back there to, gosh, if I could just get another week of somebody chirping in my ear about that stuff, I'd be in a lot better shape. Hey, I'm Captain John Vick with the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office. When it comes to your career, don't settle for good enough. Don't settle for ordinary. we won't either. Be different, be better, be exceptional. Start your future today at joinlso.com. So if you guys had to pick, one or two big successes or wins for your agency in 2023, what would you say?
I would say for us is we really took an initiative to apply for a lot of grants this year, and did some collaborative grants with other agencies in our area, and we were able to secure almost $3 million worth of grants for our department, which is phenomenal considering we're an agency of 225 full-time employees.
Yep.
It's really set us apart from what's going on in the area, allowed us to really have an impact on crime and set the department up for the future where we don't have to go down to City Hall and beg, plead, and borrow to get extra funding.
Yep. Josh?
For me, I would say just in my position, we had a complete overhaul of our mobility policy. As I stated at the top of the podcast, we're a mobile organization, so
yep.
we require agents to move for us to be able to successfully execute the mission. So you get a lot of times where we all come in, everybody's excited to move, you're looking forward to it. But oftentimes what you find is when your life circumstances change, maybe you're not too keen to moving as you once were. So with the overhaul, what we did was we've now established a pathway to stability for agents. So what we are doing is encouraging agents to move early in their careers so that the trade-off towards the end of their career is that stability that you need. So I think that is something that is going to really pay dividends as we see how this overhaul is going to work out for the organization.
It's amazing how important the people side of our business is. It's all, and that goes back to stuff, Chris, you were talking about. It's the relationships and making sure our people are taken care of. And man, when you get into that human resources realm, it's people all the time. So very cool. Steve, how about you? The training center, obviously a big one, and helicopter program on the way.
Yep, those are two big ones. Those are still in the works. If I want to talk something that's tangible that I can say we've actually been a success this year, one of them is our recruiting. I'm sure, as you guys can all relate to that, recruiting is a big issue in our profession. And we have the Department of Detention as well as law enforcement here and communications. So we've had a massive recruitment initiative to fill a lot of vacancies. The county provides our funding. So it was a big fight for the county over this past year to have them augment our budgets to increase salaries for existing positions because we weren't competitive in the recruitment field.
Yeah. So
we've hired a tremendous amount of people, and which goes back to the training division of now, hey, we've got them in the door. Now we got to train them and actually, apply that new resource of personnel to the field. So that's been a huge one for us across the board. We're still lagging on detention. I don't know how you guys can reflect on that, but down here, detention is a shortfall statewide. And we can't, it just seems like as fast as I get them in the door, we're losing people to retirement and then also promotions, which is a good thing.
Yep.
So that's one. The second one would be our investment in our personnel as far as overall wellness programs, whether it's mind wellness or whether it's we've actually hired a dietitian, we've hired personal trainers. We've invested in a kinesics program out of LSU, a company that comes in and evaluates our personnel all the way from all your body movements. They can predict or kind of diagnose ailments that you either have or will have based on your kinesics.
Wow.
And so that's really helped out. So now we have people, hey, you want to come in? I can evaluate you. I can set you on a diet plan. I have a personal trainer to set you up on a physical fitness program. So it's a good partnership that we have with our healthcare provider, which is Aetna, and the sheriff has really invested a lot in our personnel to have those resources. So if you want to make a better version of yourself, you follow him along. He's very into fitness, and he's just opening that up to everybody else. And when our training center opens, our gym is going to be a 20,000 square foot gym that's going to have complete state-of-the-art equipment, facilities, resources. It's really going to be a pinnacle piece that you'll see from around the state.
I might have to take a trip down there and see this, just get some ideas rolling. So
absolutely. Come on down.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. For us, I mentioned earlier we're doing a renovation for our offices, so we've kind of phased our rollout to different operational areas, and we started with kind of our court services division and patrol and stuff, and we've slowly worked our way up to the nerve center of the office. Some people might disagree whether that's the nerve center or not. It's the head shed, if you will, and so that we saved that for last, and so we've got the sheriff, chief deputy. Some of our command staff displaced, and so we're hoping that we're back in there by April, but the construction stuff's going pretty well right now. So that's been a big project for us. We've got a big criminal interdiction program here that we're super proud of. Those folks have had a phenomenal year working cases that started here in the middle of the country. And they've had cases that have spanned all the way from Miami to Los Angeles, California, and have traveled, one end of the country to the other on interviews and working cases and making arrests with our federal partners and stuff. So it's been a really good year for them. And Chris, to your point with the grants, we've been very fortunate with we've taken a pretty progressive stance with forfeited assets, and so we've been able to supplement a lot of our budget stuff so that it's not on the backs of taxpayers all the time, and use some of those proceeds from criminal activity, have the criminal organizations and drug dealers fund some of our programs and things here. So it's been a really good year for them. But I'll echo what you said, Steve. I mean, we're looking forward to in 2024 some challenges, but also things that we're hoping to, I guess, capitalize on is that people attraction, recruitment, and then the people retention stuff. And I don't think there's any shortcuts to do that, right? I mean, you gotta take care of people and make them good enough that they can leave, but treat them well enough that they don't want to, I guess is kind of how I'm looking at it. Just like everybody, I mean, we're short. We're in a better position than a lot of agencies, but that's certainly a challenge that we're facing going into 2024 is, filling the roster and keeping it full. Is that a similar challenge for your three agencies?
We've been pretty fortunate. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead. So I could tell you from Florida, and obviously talking to our counterparts around the state, it's almost a generational issue. And it's no longer about loyalty to an agency or wanting to find an agency and kind of stick with that career pathing. It's that millennial mindset of if someone's going to pay me $2 more an hour, I'm going to jump. There's no long view of a pension. There's no long view of staying in one place for stability or staying with one organization for stability. It's about what am I getting? What have you done for me today mentality? And if they don't like something, they're not getting that new car right out of the gate. They're not getting the days off they want right out of the gate. Or the pay is, and what's maybe, they don't even look at total compensation. If you look at total compensation with us, for law enforcement, we start walking in the door, no experience. You're making $60,000.
Yep.
If you have some experience, it goes all the way up to $97,000 as a deputy sheriff.
Yep.
That's not counting insurance or other fringe benefits, overtime opportunities, paid holidays. That's not counting any of that, but they look at what's in their paycheck. And if they think they can get a little bit more money somewhere else, they're going to jump. So we try to, again, incentivize the best we can to be here to create that solid culture and have all the resources available to them to try to retain, not just get them in the door, but like you said, how do you retain them? So that's a big focus we have.
Yeah, I think what Steve said is correct, is the culture is what makes the difference. You do have these new generations of people coming in with have different mindsets. We've been very fortunate to have really tried to create a culture of family here at our department. And it's actually spread very well. We maintain nearly fully staffed on the patrol division, always working to fill those spots. Our biggest challenge for 24 when it comes to that is our communications area with our dispatchers. And we're working on building a new facility for them that should be going live this year, but then we're going to have to expand and add more personnel. And I foresee that being a challenge to be able to adequately staff our communication center.
How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I would agree with everything you guys are saying. I would say we're probably we're not in that bad of a shape. But yes, attrition, I think that's just going to be an issue for everyone across law enforcement. And so our director's mantra, it's always been people first, mission always. And we're really just trying to abide by that to ensure that the culture is good so that people want to stay. But at the federal level, I mean, we understand that it is so easy to transition over to another federal organization, just depending on what's going to meet your needs. And so we're just really trying to create that culture where people want to stay.
And I mean, I'm guessing, especially dealing with the promotional angle that you are, Josh, you know, you're filling a lot of years of experience at the federal level when you're trying to replace some of those positions. Would that be the case?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest problems. If you were to look at some of our larger offices, just here in the U.S., when you just look at the makeup of the office, it is fairly junior agents, and we are losing a lot of people at that GS 15, 14 level that have years of experience. And so that just creates a void where all of that corporate knowledge is leaving. But we're just really trying to make sure that we're raising up the leaders now so that they can fill those roles.
Yeah, absolutely. Other challenges for you guys, you know, big goals or New Year's resolutions for your agencies?
I got one I can share. So we're a large organization. So the sheriff put a mandate out effective January 8th. He's launching a fitness program for all of the at-will employees. So basically captains or equivalents and up, director level and up for us, which equates to 95 people. And he gave me a 20-minute warning before he launched this email that I had no pre-meetings about or steering or guiding. And I'll send it to you so you can see it. But essentially he says 3 days a week, he goes, I work hard in the gym. We're dying too young in this profession. And his job is to see you not just through your career, but make sure you are fit when you walk out the door to enjoy your retirement.
Yeah.
Or your second career, whatever you choose to do.
Yeah.
And so he has mandated everybody will work out a minimum 3 days a week. And he wants to see a positive difference in everybody, because obviously it's an individual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he left it kind of vague, but very stern. So I had to come up with a whole program for 2024 for all of our at-will employees of what platform for accountability without violating anybody's HIPAA rules.
Wow.
And making sure everybody has all the resources they need to start a personal workout program for yourself. And
is that all?
There we go. That's all. Right. That's all. It starts January 8th. So we're going to have a big kickoff thing in January 8th. And hey, here's the app that everybody's going to use. Meet your dietitians, your personal trainers, all your concierge services that we've made available to you. And good luck to you. Make sure you're reporting in on your workouts, because the sheriff's going to be watching for who's working out and who's not.
Wow. You know, it's daunting, but it sounds really, really cool. So good luck to you guys on that.
It's going to be good stuff.
Yeah. Josh, anything else that looking ahead to 2024?
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm trying to work on right now is just I'm looking at ways to overhaul our promotion process. So just looking for ways to make it just more objective.
Yeah.
And I'm actually trying to partner with an outside federal organization where maybe they can sit on some of our boards to watch the interviews, just to make sure there's no subjectivity in there, because we are a fairly small organization. And so it's very difficult to ever have a board where there's not somebody who you have personally worked with. And I just think that could start introducing some bias. So we're looking for ways to alleviate that.
Very cool. Very cool. Chris, anything else?
Yeah, like I said, we're working on hopefully opening the doors on our new dispatch center this summer.
Yep.
We're going through implementing a new computer-aided dispatch software program, a new records management software program, a new field reporting program. So pretty much 2024 is going to be new buildings and new software for us here at the Bartlett Police Department.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
Great. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, the cool thing about this for me is, and I was excited last night. I was telling my wife that I was going to be doing this with you guys today, and she's like, "That's really cool, but you know, how does that relate to Lancaster County?" And for me, you know, the thing is that, and we all got to see this when we were out in Quantico, but everybody's got the same problems, right? The same challenges. The job might look a little bit different. Our agencies might be scaled a little bit differently size-wise, and you know, what our responsibility is. Josh, you've gotten to go probably more places around the globe than I would hope to, but it's cool that we're definitely not as different as we sometimes are made to feel we are or think we are, and that especially within our community of law enforcement, it's the same problems, it's the same challenges that we're up against. The scale might be a little different, but I can definitely relate each of those examples you guys gave to stuff that's going on right here in our community. So,
well, internally and externally, that's true. Look at what we've learned over the last few years with how it doesn't matter where something happens. Everybody views the law enforcement profession on a global context.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter. Something happens in South Florida that might be negative. It's going to affect Tennessee. It's going to affect the federal level. It's going to affect Nebraska. Absolutely. And that's where everybody's looking at us through a singular lens. So not just our internal problems, but our external influences and external challenges that we deal with in our profession.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it is all interconnected, and just, again, being back at the NA and getting to meet all you guys and just seeing how, you're right. It's all scalable,
mm-hmm.
but it's the same.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, anybody else got anything for the good of the order today? We got to do this before we hang up. What's the temperature check? Steve always wins this one. Once in a while, Steve and I will text and be like, what's the weather like in Fort Lauderdale?
All right, you guys go first and I'll see where I'm at.
55 and sunny here in Memphis.
All right. 48 and cloudy in Virginia.
I'm okay. I'll take the low. I'm 47 and cloudy, Josh. You got me by a degree, but yes, I think we're similar latitude. So
yeah.
Okay, hit us with it.
So currently at 1:30 in the afternoon here in South Florida, we are at our high for the day of 74 degrees. And I'm going to have a chilly winter low today of 63.
Oh, man.
That is like parkas and fur coats are out. It's, if it gets below 60 in South Florida, the homeless shelter is open. We can't have any hypothermic issues. So if it cracks 59, the Salvation Army wool blankets and the shelter's open. So 74 degrees. And you know what? And that is a very wintry day for me. So it's actually very nice outside.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
Well, it was 32 degrees this morning when I went running.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, it was chilly this morning. I just can't thank you guys enough for taking time. I know you're all busy, and it's a busy time of year. But Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to each of you and to your agencies. But so cool to see all of you on here again today.
Absolutely. Well, John, thanks for doing this, and thanks for putting this together. This was very cool. I'm glad to see all your guys' faces. One thing to text or see an email, but to see all your guys' faces, man, it's definitely nice to have that around the holidays, so I appreciate it.
And I can't forget before we go, too, I want to go around the horn because, people can read your name and see where you're from, but where can people go to learn more about your agency or, if they want to join your agency?
Yeah, you can go first.
But this is the one that everybody's got the spiel already, right?
Yeah, for us, please just follow us on LinkedIn. I think that is the best place to follow us is LinkedIn because you can get early notifications of when we are going to have openings for agent. And a lot of times the moment we get to like 700, we'll shut it down just because we can't handle getting 2,000 applications.
Right. And that's so search for NCIS on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Chris?
Yeah, you can find us at the cityofbartlettpolice.org, or you can get us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, everywhere, anywhere you can think of. Our Facebook profile is pretty good. It gets a lot of hits. Everybody says that guy's funny, although sometimes I beg to differ. But yeah, we're taking lateral transfers from not to Lancaster County, but any county around there.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
Over with a $10,000 sign-on bonus.
All right. All right.
Wow.
But, the first time Steve told me his website, I thought he was joking with me, but apparently somebody was very forward thinking. Steve, what's your website?
We are www.sheriff.org.
Man.
That's it. We own it. So that's our website. Very explanatory. Any of our jobs, anything, postings like that, you want to see what we're about, It's all on there. Or if you want to follow us on social media, it is the Broward Sheriff's Office. That is our Instagram. That is our Facebook page. That is our Twitter handler. And we're on TikTok.
Perfect. Well, again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to you guys. Be safe, and we'll hopefully see you all sooner than later. Well, again, just a huge thanks to Chris, Josh, and Steve. Appreciate them and their agencies for joining us today on the 902 podcast for this New Year's edition. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the 902 podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. You can also follow us on social media at LSO Nebraska on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and reach out to us via email, lso@lancaster.ne.gov. If you have questions or are interested in career opportunities at the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, be sure to visit us, www.joinlso.com. Also, make sure that you have a safe and happy New Year's Eve this year, and we wish you and all of your family and friends a very safe and prosperous New Year in 2024. It's been a great year here for the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, and at the 902 podcast specifically. We hope to catch you on more episodes, bringing you content on public safety topics relevant to you in Lancaster County in 2024. Thanks, and Happy New Year.